A woman that achieved remarkable things, rose to prominence and even infamy in some circles, once said, "Don't confuse having a career with having a life." Hillary Rodham Clinton, during her campaign for president, spoke many times on the need for work-life balance and how hard that can be to achieve in our modern world. Work-life balance has become very important to everyone. Chapter 14 focuses on finding and maintaining that balance. I'm Bill Perkins, and in this Module 10 discussion for professional communication, I will attempt to answer 3 questions and hopefully provide some insight into the issue of work-life balance. Question number 1. According to the authors, what is work-life balance and why is it important? In what ways are your work-school life balanced or out of balance? What strategies do you use to have work-life balance? What should you be doing? What are the benefits of having said balance? And what are the costs of being out of balance? On page 352, the authors quote Drago and Galvin with Shellman to say, "It is the accomplishment of role-related expectations that are negotiated and shared between an individual and his or her related partners in the work and family domains." More simply, it's how we balance the needs and requirements of our employers and co-workers against the needs and requirements of our families with respect to our role and standing in each. Having a good work-life balance helps us to succeed at both work and at home. It keeps us from burning out and feeling overwhelmed. In previous quarters, I was able to keep my school and life balance by being organized and having set hours in which to do my schoolwork without interruption and in my own office space. I was more relaxed, felt in control of my situation. I was enjoying my classes and learning new things. This quarter has been the first time I've been out of balance. Homework has taken over my family lifetime and is creating more stress than before. I feel like I'm always just on the cusp of not getting things done or not being able to do them to the best of my ability. Combined with my disability, this quarter has pushed me to the edge of burnout. It's really made me reconsider whether returning to work is a viable option. The question of what should I be doing in order to have a better balance between school, which is work, and life is in some respects unfair. It puts the onus on me, the student, and engenders the idea that my current imbalance is somehow my fault, something which I think this book does a lot of. In my experience, the worker/student has very little say in affecting change when the balance is weighted more towards work due to the sheer amount of workload or expectations. Those are set by the teacher/boss, and sometimes you just have to survive it until the end of that class or job, even if it affects other parts of your work or home life. A good balance between work and life has the following benefits listed on page 353. Feeling like you have more control in your life, having time to focus more on life outside of work, you don't bring problems from home to work and vice versa, you feel more loyalty and commitment to work and family, improved self-esteem, health, concentration, and confidence, and relationships are better with management. You feel a greater responsibility and ownership of where you work. Question number 2 asks, in the bigger picture, what do the authors say are the consequences of work and life being out of balance? Do you agree or disagree with their perspective? And why? What is your evidence? The consequence of being out of balance is burnout. Burnout, per the authors on page 352, manifests itself as chronic exhaustion from persistent workload, decreased motivation, and apathy towards work. It makes people prone to quitting, abusing sick leave, and causes poor job performance. The authors note on page 354 that companies that do not help their employees maintain a good balance have problems with employee retention and not being able to get new employees in. I agree with the author's perception of work-life balance, the benefits of a good balance, and the consequences of being out of balance. Like I said in question number 1, my current life is out of balance and I'm feeling the effects. I also know from my previous work experience where the demands of the job and the stress my employer subjected me to caused my blood pressure to skyrocket and I developed a cardiac arrhythmia. This was my first big management job, and I was never so happy in my life to quit a job. With the added benefit that once I did, my blood pressure returned to normal and the arrhythmia went away for many years. Question 3 asks, what did the authors miss as it relates to work-life balance? I do believe the authors have done a very good job discussing work-life balance, the need for it, how it affects our lives when it is out of balance. But I think they overemphasize the worker's responsibility in maintaining that balance. However, many of the causes of burnout listed on page 353 are beyond the worker's power to mitigate and are issues that should be dealt with by management and the corporation, such as doing the same type of work with little variation, making it seem meaningless, giving a great deal personally and not getting much back in the way of appreciation or other positive responses, lacking a sense of accomplishment and meaning in your work, being under constant, strong pressure to produce, perform, meet deadlines, many of which may be unrealistic, working with difficult people, conflict and tension among staff and absence of support from colleagues and abundance of criticism, lack of trust between supervisors and associates, creating conflict rather than teamwork, not having opportunities for personal expression or for taking initiative, having unrealistic demands on your time and energy, having jobs that are both personally and unprofessionally taxing without much opportunity for supervision, continued education, or other forms of training. The only issue that was listed that a worker has direct control over is any unresolved personal conflicts beyond the job situation, such as marital tension, chronic health problem, or financial problems. And all the information about knowing your personality type, what to do about bullying and mobbing, dealing with the demands of your personal life, taking care of your health, developing emotional intelligence and time management skills are all good things. However, in my experience, those issues do not cause the majority of work-life balance problems. The majority of the problems are a result of corporate culture and management, caused by a lack of care or concern towards their employees, especially those on the bottom of the hierarchies who actually build the products and provide most of the services. Today, the topic of work-life balance has become a priority at the top of the political forum, in schools and workplaces, and in the conversations we have at home with our families. How do we find that balance? Hillary Clinton thought that part of the solution was government policies. Others think we need to change the corporate and societal culture in respect to work. I've told you why I think the power to implement and maintain proper work-life balance is under the ultimate control of the employer, the corporation. But is it really? Maybe it's time that the workers actually decide what is really important and stop placing the main emphasis of our lives and sense of self and accomplishment on our work. We can choose to play the game the way the modern corporate world wants, or we can force them to change how the game is played by refusing to work for employers that do not respect the balance and not buying their products. We can also just refuse to play the game and make choices in our life that are not about how much money we can earn or what position in the company we can hold, and structure our lives more towards family and personal life. Thanks for listening. I hope I've given you something to think about, and have a good night.